Levinson, and welcome to Light On, Light Through, episode 391, my review of Dark Matter 1.8 on Apple TV+. Well, up until Dark Matter 1.8, we had Jason 1, visiting a variety of alternate realities. That was very exciting, excellent, but all of that flipped in episode 1.8, where we had an onslaught of different Jasons showing up at the worst possible times in World 1. And that made for a crackling episode in which all hell broke loose. In fact, again, probably the best episode so far. And also, now we can finally see the poster for the series fulfilled. Now, at first it looked like Jason 1 killed Jason 2, or maybe vice versa. But we soon learned that the victim was Jason 3, or the first of a flood of Jasons, all of whom were at odds with Jason 1's understandable, transcendent desire to be back with his family, that is, a family that he knew and who knew him. And by the way, I haven't warned you about spoilers because I'm sure you wouldn't have listened this far if you haven't seen this episode 1.8 of Dark Matter. And by the way, here let me just tip my hat to the bartender in this series. He's a great science fictional character. He no longer questions or even seems to wonder about the proliferation of Jasons who keep showing up in his bar. He just greets them, serves them, and takes them in all in stride. I think that's really cool. Now, we already know that all the Jasons do have a violent streak, and when competing with each other for Daniela 1 and Charlie 1, sheer violence, of course, quickly comes to the fore. And Daniela is always willing to be deadly violent to save herself and Charlie from Jason 2, and she pushes him down the basement stairs. This season could have ended right after that, with Jason 1 finally reunited with his family. But 1.8 is not the final episode this season. There's going to be one more next week, and there's no way that Dark Matter could end with quite so happy an ending.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
And I hope you enjoyed that review of Dark Matter 1.8. You know, I'm also watching on Apple TV Presumed Innocent, and it also takes place in Chicago. And I couldn't help thinking, wouldn't it be a cool scene in Presumed Innocent if one of the Jasons showed up in the background? Hey, you don't need to give me credit, producers of Presumed Innocent, if you're listening to this podcast, although I'm sure all the episodes have already been filmed or recorded, or whatever the right word is in this digital age. I'll be back here next week with my review of the final episode of Dark Matter. It'll be episode 1.9. Then who knows, maybe I'll start reviewing Presumed Innocent or The Lazarus Project. I've already written several reviews of each, two great, very different series. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and enjoy.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplottoSaveSocrates.com.
Your brilliant story, it's real life.
Paul Levinson's Silk Code, about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.
Reading words from Paul Levinson's mind. His tales take the stage, leave the world behind. Spinning histories in a brand new light, with the Beatles alive through the Mersey night. What can we do? Levinson's pen, it draws us.